here at Jinji Lake, the magnet for upscale hotels in Suzhou. We got the Ritz-Carlton opening up here, the Nickel just opened here, the W Hotel is located here. The lunch buffet of which, by the way, was terrible. And then behind me, we got the Park Hyatt. And hopefully lunch here won't disappoint. However, Park doesn't have a full buffet, so we're gonna check out its Chinese restaurant instead.
The layout of the restaurant, or I should say of the hotel, revolves around several ponds. It is clearly a modern take on the traditional Chinese gardens for which Suzhou is renowned. A stroll down one of the corridors was reminiscent of a trip to the new Suzhou Museum, which was designed by the great late I.M. Pei. Back to the Suzhou Hall restaurant at the Park Hyatt. Unlike the general architectural design that mostly represented Suzhou, the kitchen represented most of the country. For example,
这个是你们那个五粮液烤鸭吗？
对，是的。
That's the restaurant's signature Peking duck, roasted using date tree wood from Xinjiang and finished off with the famous liquor Wu Liang Ye from Yibin of Sichuan province. The duck was very appealing, but we opted for the Prix Fixe menu, which offered good value for money and great diversity in cuisine style choices.
So these are our two cold dishes. We got the marinated pork cheek.
First, the Huayang Jiangxiang roll, marinated pork cheek. I suspect the Park Hyatt made up the name. There's no such a dish as far as I know, and we thought it was going to be something akin to traditional braised meat, but it was essentially head cheese made with pig's head. Didn't notice any crunchy pig ear, so it was probably fatty pork jaw for the most part, but maybe the snout was also used. The majority of content was actual meat instead of gelatin, and mostly whole slices, not trimmings, which gave the broth more texture.
And then the Su Shao.
The other cold dish was Su Shao, or vegetarian roast goose. Definitely very vegetarian and not goosey.
Inside looks like it has carrots, needle mushroom, and things like that. And then on top is the black wood ear edible fungus, and should have black truffle oil as well.
Stand out here is black truffle. This is because Su Shao is a Jiangnan veggie dish invented as a sort of poor man's roast goose, like this plain version we had at the Shaoxing Hotel in Shaoxing. So using the luxurious black truffle turned the dish upside down without deviating from its vegetarian roots. I thought the various fungi might even amplify the aroma, but the truffle was a no-show and it was a big letdown. Speaking of letdown,
and these are our two hot dishes. Over here, we got the stewed black pork knuckle. Not sure where that black pork came from. It's probably a local variety and not the Japanese Kurabata or the Iberian Pata Negra or the Korean Jeju Black.
Actually, it's the pig's foot or trotter, not the pork knuckle as stated on the menu. It was too small and you could clearly see the toe. Regardless, the trotter was stewed properly. It absorbed much of the caramelized sugar and soy sauce typical of the local cooking style. Surely that contributed to its dark amber color, whether or not its skin was black to begin with. The toes fell apart with ease, and the connective tissue no longer connected to anything.
Very gooey.
Yes, it was gooey and yummy, but it could have been stewed a bit longer to dissolve more collagen into gelatin that would glue my lips together. And more importantly, stewing longer would have softened the abalone, which I was so excited for.
And the abalone.
Too bad that didn't turn out well. I thought I could bite it in half, but instead I had to chew the entire thing. It was more rubbery than gummy. I went at it for like a whole minute. My jaw had a big workout and it was a super big letdown. Another Jiangnan dish was the Yu Yuan Tang fishball soup, an icon in many parts of Zhejiang province, where we've had plenty of balls. You know what I mean. Honestly, I do love these balls, and I could do an entire video about them, but I'll save the details for the description section.
We got the fishball soup. So, love this tofu-like consistency.
They had the soft and bouncy texture I was looking for, but these were small balls, especially compared to this big fella we had at Hangzhou Jiujia in Hangzhou. Speaking of big balls, this steaming 鸡球包 literally means chicken ball pot. The chicken ball here is a term I believe of Cantonese origin, referring to the spherical chunks of braised chicken. I want to say the general flavor was quite Cantonese too. A good balance between scallion, cooking wine, soy sauce, and the sort, without overpowering the taste of the meat. Continuing with Cantonese cuisine, this is pigeon soup with dried whelk and scallop, the latter of which is also known by its Cantonese loanword name konpoi. The dime-sized scallop was small, but it crumbled very easily, a sign that the soup was simmered for an extensive period, which is crucial to fully extracting the umami from both scallop and whelk. The whelk also adding a tinge of minerality. Next, Sichuan cuisine. This is 水煮牛舌, poached ox tongue. 水煮 means boiled in water, so that sounds pretty mild, right? But obviously it doesn't look mild with all the chili peppers, etc. 水煮 is an emblem of Sichuan cuisine, and I could also do an entire video, but maybe a different time. The dish was pretty good overall, even with hotness toned down for local preferences. The most interesting touch was substituting typical bean sprout with peanut sprout. The first time we had peanut sprout was 2 months ago at the 传老大饭店 in Hangzhou. It's like bean sprout, only much larger and crunchier. The ones here were smaller, but still crunched very satisfyingly. And then, fried rice fit for a 5-star hotel. The wagyu didn't offer much, but the dried sakura shrimp were rich in umami and were soft enough to not poke my gums. What we enjoyed most, however, was that the fried rice wasn't greasy. There wasn't a pool of oil lying at the bottom, while the rice was separate grains that didn't clump. This was no doubt the result of 火气, wok energy. Last but not least, the 荠菜盒子.
So this is the 荠菜盒子, a kind of calzone or turnover with shepherd's purse. Let's check it out. It's typical of northern China.
盒子 literally means box, and here it's listed as pan-fried dumpling. Some folks do refer to the 盒子 as plus-size dumpling, and size is pretty much the only consensus about distinction between the two. Other explanations like cooking method, leavened or unleavened dough, or types of fillings don't always hold up.
So the typical filling is Chinese chives, but the shepherd's purse, although it is considered a reed in many parts of the world, it is one of the favorite springtime vegetables here in the Jiangnan region.
The 荠菜 shepherd's purse has a slightly bitter and grassy note. It is a member of the 七头一脑, or 7 heads and 1 brain, a group of 8 springtime veggies mainly consumed here in the Jiangnan region. I'll do some videos on them next time spring comes around. It was an enormous meal, but there's more. A dessert buffet with opera cake, carrot cake, cheesecake, Swiss roll, caramel pudding, rose mousse, and soft serve. If only the desserts were more Chinese. All in all, quality didn't fully meet my expectations, especially some of the local Jiangnan dishes. If we paid the original price for each dish, I feel I got robbed. But with the Prix Fixe menu, it was a great steal, and we were surprised with an extra 15% discount because it was the hotel's anniversary. The bill came to less than 200 yuan per head. A lot of dishes and a long video. I'll try to keep it short next time. 再见